What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here. In today's video, I want to share with you exactly how to build a $10,000 a month wholesaling real estate operation with this exact game plan. Before I break it down, do me a big favor. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and let's break it down. When it comes to making $10,000 a month in wholesaling real estate, it's not as difficult as it seems. And now it might be like, okay, Zach, you've done over 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals. It sounds like you know everything and you're all high and mighty on your chair right now telling me it's super easy to make 10 grand every single month. But the honest truth is, when you really look at making $10,000 every stinking single month, it really does come down to consistent marketing, consistently following up, consistently talking to sellers, cash buyers, and really, when you look at a lot of people that are trying to get into wholesaling real estate, people that are trying to start wholesaling, there's a big proportion of them that aren't going to make $10,000 a month consistently, right? Like that's a goal for a lot of people starting out. Heck, for me starting out, that was a huge goal. But when you look at people that actually talk to, let's say, 400 leads every single month, right? Like they got 400 yeses. There's almost a 0% chance of those people not making 10K every single month, right? And from somebody that can consistently do over $100,000 every single month in wholesaling real estate, I can tell you straight up that I don't miss on these months. And I consistently get these deals because I talk to enough sellers, right? I pull enough cash buyers. I actually do the things it takes every single day, every single month to actually do huge, amazing wholesaling real estate deals. And that is sort of the point today. And that is the point I really want to get into. But again, I said it one more time. I'll say it again. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate everybody hopping on today and watching. So let's talk about this, right? Let's really break everything down. I want everybody to understand exactly what it takes to make $10,000 a month, because I really don't think it's as difficult as it seems, right? So what I want to do is break down my action plan, right? And from my action plan today, I want you guys to know, if I was going to make a little, $500 course on how to make, let's say, 120K a year in wholesaling, right? Like, so that's sort of the video I have today, right? Like that's sort of the video I have, and that's sort of what I'm making today. So if you want to make that much money in your own wholesaling real estate business, you really got to look at yourself and be like, okay, would I pay a $500 course for it? Most people will. Most people are willing to pay $500 for a little course like this, right? And the problem is, a lot of people that are trying to get to that point from no money, they can't afford that, right? But for a lot of people, they pay courses all that 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5 grand, right? Like they got little courses and mini mastermind sessions. I see all the stupid stinking time of how to get rich and how to do this, this, and this, and that, all this crazy stuff, right? When in all honesty, you can get this information from me for free. But like, if I was going to sell a $500 course, I could probably sell 1,000 this month of that, right? And so I'm just doing the math really quick. So if I can just go on, I mean, we'll have over 1,000 views on this, but like it might get 2, 3, 4, 5,000 views, 1,000 views. And if everyone paid it'd be 500K in a month, easy. I could probably make just being a little guru selling a course, right? And that's not me doing the crazy $10,000 programs, the Zooms and all that stupid stuff I just refuse to do, right? I don't do that. But I could probably make at minimum, I would probably say 300K a month selling like a tiny little course on how to consistently do deals like I'm going to do today. But I'm like, all right, I'm not a broke guru. I make a ton of money JVing with you guys. I make a ton of money in my own wholesaling real estate business. Why don't I just give out that little mini course in this video today, right? And that's sort of why I decided when I was sitting down and just kind of writing out this video and writing out exactly what I was going to say. So really that's what I want to do today, and really what I want to break down. So this is going to be my $10,000 a month action plan, my action guide plan for you to become successful in wholesaling real estate. And I can tell you, like, if you're looking at changing your life in wholesaling, changing your life and really consistently doing wholesaling deals, it's all going to come down to making an action plan, creating the plan and executing on that plan, guys. And I talk about some of the greatest men and women of all time, and they all had a plan. So if you're looking to make $10,000 a month in wholesaling real estate, you have to be like them, right? So I look at some of the great people of all time: Winston Churchill, Mahatma Gandhi, MLK Jr. You look at some generals like Alexander the Great, and you see Ark and all these great military leaders and great military minds. And really, they all had confidence and they all had a plan of attack. Alexander the Great did not conquer all of Persia and large parts of Egypt and all these, but like just winging it, right? Like he didn't go wing it. And he was what, like 20, 21, 22 years old when he became general. Like he didn't wing it, and he didn't become very successful doing that, right? Like, guys, if you saw like Harriet Tubman, for example, like she would have not saved so many people if she just winged it, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna go save people, but like I'm just gonna do what I feel like for the day. No, she had a stinking plan. Okay, Gandhi had a plan for what he did. Winston Churchill had plans. The greatest men and women of all time that have done great things have all had plans. So if you look at those people, why do you think you're any different, right? Kobe Bryant had a 6-6-6 routine, which doesn't sound too good just saying that, but that's his routine where he would literally work out 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 months straight to get into basketball shape. And that's how he became very great. Kobe did that. Michael Jordan had a very similar thing there, but they all had action plans to be great with everything, right? And greatness isn't something that you just wing it, right? You have to plan it out. So when I'm talking about making an action plan, this is why I do it, because I look at the greatest people I look up to in my life. I'm like, well, I want to be like them. Now we are not doing anything near what some of the people I talked about today. Like we're not doing any of those crazy things, right? That was way more courage than what we're doing. But like we're talking about doing something great, and making $10,000 a month is great because it's a great financial freedom for you and your family, right? And that is what we're talking about today. And you're going to be the hero of your own family, right? And you look at every superhero out there, before they fought the big boss, the battle, they all had plans. And that is why I'm telling you today, you have to create a plan, and it will lead you to success. This is why so many wholesalers really starting out, they don't have a plan. And that's why they don't succeed. Plan right now or you will fail. And that's why I love looking at so many beginner wholesalers that come up to me and they're like, Zach, I see you make hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. Why am I not your level? I'm in your market. Why am I not your level? And honestly, I just literally give them the sauce. I give them the best information I possibly can, and they still can't beat me. Do you know why? I can give my enemy, if I'm in a battle, the greatest weapon ever. Like if you have the same weapon as me, I don't care. I'm still going to whoop you because I know how to use my weapons better. And this sort of goes down to wholesaling, where you're just not going to outwork me. You're not going to outwork my VA team. You're not going to outwork me cold calling. You're not going to outwork my team on acquisitions, because we actually put in the work every single day. We have a plan and we execute. 99.9% of people out here are capping. Okay. They talk about a big game. I want to make 100K this year. I want to make $1 million. I'm going to whoop your butt, Zach, in wholesaling. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to close all these deals. It sounds cool. It sounds sexy. But really, when it comes down to actually making the work and doing the action, that separates the men from the boys, the women from the little girls trying out in this business, right? It separates everybody. Work is the success. That's why you pop up to Michael Jordan and say, hey, I'm going to whoop your butt. I'm going to beat you. Michael Jordan will laugh at you, right? There's only a very few amount of men and women out here that could say that to Michael Jordan, and now we're right? Like you look at Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, heck, Kobe. Kobe actually played Michael Jordan, right? There's a very few amount of people that can go toe for toe for him. And I'm not saying who's better, who's worse, but like when they're going up against each other, those are the people that could actually compete with him, because they're matched his work ethic. They matched the stuff he was willing to do and the skill set and the work, right? So I see all these young people coming up here saying, hey, I'm going to be really good at all this stuff. Hey, stop yapping. Get to work. That's how I'm going to know if you're a successful or not. The hours you put in the marketing, the hours you put into becoming successful, and the hours it takes for you to actually be the best wholesaler possible. That's how I know if you're going to be legit or not in this business. So this is why I'm not giving you a pep talk. I'm not making you feel better than guys. It's none of this stuff. What you honestly have to know is if you want to become successful and make over $10,000 a month, you're going to need an action plan. And that action plan is what's going to lead you to success. Now, I've talked about the list of poll. I've talked about all these things, the scripts, all this. Guys, this is not a video for it. I'm giving you an action plan today, okay? We're not getting a 10-hour guide, but do remember, if you want to learn any of this stuff, how I do it, what to do, all that fun jazz, you already know, just go to freewholesaling.com. That's my free real estate wholesaling course, where I'll teach you absolutely for free actually how to go up here and talk to motivated sellers, the list to pull, all this stuff, and how to actually become as successful as possible. But that is my little action plan guide. So let's get in the nitty gritty. Let's get into this and let's get it going. Now, most people who watch me talk all day, every day, some of y'all hop on the live stream, see me kind of share my information, my knowledge. Y'all already know it's a lot of the best leads and marketing styles and everything I talk about, it all comes down to a very few, not niche, but like, you got less than $100. I wish I could tell you there's 100 ways to get a bunch of deals with $100, but honestly, it's under 20 or 25. Like you could probably say 30 if you want to push it, but it comes down to like 5 or 6 main ways, right? And technically the list can expand more. So like, for example, like I might say government lists. This can even bleed into other things like code violations, probates, water shutoffs, tax delinquencies, right? And you can even get like, I can go even further in there. Like you got bail bondsman lists, you got the arrest records, right? I just go on and on. There's a million type of liens out here, IRS debt lien lists, credit card debt lien lists, right? There's so many little niched out things from there. But really, trying for dollars, reverse trying for dollars, Zillow for sale by owners, you can cold call a bunch of lists, you can pay for a list, right? There's a lot of ways out here, but like really when you don't have that much money, stick to the basics, stick to what works for most people, and it will make you successful, right? And you don't need to learn the secret special trick of everything. And I truly say this with as much humility as I can say, but you don't need to be special to like start out. Like you don't. So I like to equate wholesaling like fighting. And I always say wholesaling is like fighting in war. Those are the best analogies, right? Oh, it's like basketball. No, it's not, okay? It's like fighting in war. And what I mean by this, like let's look at two boxers, okay? Wholesaling, let's call it a boxing match. If you ever see really good boxers, even Floyd Mayweather, he does boxing, right? That's fighting. There's not a million moves. Like we go to MMA, we talk about like there's a million moves. You got Kimura's uppercuts, right? You got all these crazy things, right? You do a whizzer, sprawl. I go forever on like MMA terms because you got like 8 sports, heck, even probably 12 sports together. But if you really look at most people, like if you want to be in the top 10% of fighters for boxing, right? If you really know how to do your punches the right way, maybe there's 20 or 30 moves that if you practice just on and on and on, you can probably be a very good fighter. Like I'm not talking about like professional crazy level, but like if you could focus on 4 or 5 moves, defenses, offenses, you're not going to be this crazy like savant, but you're going to be on the top good percent and be really good at it, right? Kind of like basketball. If you really focus on the fundamentals, you're going to do well. So like if you want to make $10,000 a month in wholesaling, I just say stick to the fundamentals. Don't get crazy, right? Like we're not trying to become the NBA. But like if you can get good at 3-pointers, you get good at regular shooting, if you can understand dribbling, and then maybe some driving things, you're going to be pretty good. A little bit of defense, you're going to be better than most people at basketball, right? Like you're not going to be an NBA player probably, but like if you just stick to the fundamentals, you can get very good at it, and you don't have to get really crazy, like no craziness, right? Kind of like wholesaling. So the first $10,000 a month, we don't get crazy. We don't do insane things, right? And when I sort of scale up to like 100K a month, you really get the scaling guides out here. Yes, we can get crazy, get creative financing. We get all wholesaling, wholesale lease options. We can get really crazy complicated. And heck, I don't like talking about too much on the live streams, but like at freeholding.com, we do have some of that stuff, like scale up a little more really advanced stuff. But like really the fundamentals are where most people need to work on, talking to sellers, cold calling, list pulling, some SMS, maybe a tiny bit of direct mail, how to follow up, but really keeping the script really stupid simple. That is what's going to lead you to wholesaling success. And when you really kind of curve away from the fact of becoming successful and you really curve away from the fundamentals, that's when things get a lot worse, right? That's when a lot of things switch up. So let's kind of talk about what you have to do, right? And honestly, I could tell you is, I would probably say if you want to make $10,000 a month in wholesaling, whatever action plan you devise, it's going to need between 3 to 500 leads every single week contacted. And what I mean by this, that means you have to have contacts like hellos. And you sort of say, hey, are you the owner and are you looking to sell it, right? You can do SMS, they want to sell, you go on whatever a contact is, but as long as you actually reach out, you talk to a seller, you make contact, right? Like we call it first contact with aliens, right? So kind of the same thing with wholesaling, right? If you get at least 3 to 500 contacts a week, you can easily get it like $10,000 a month, like no questions, right? And this is pushing it, right? But I do want to push you guys to the limit because I honestly think that that's what it's going to take. But yeah, I think 3 to 500 should be fine. This should lead you, and this should be a KPI, a key performance indicator, something to keep your eye on. I think you guys should be at between 300 to 450 no's a week. And a lot of people focus on the yeses, but why don't you just focus on the no's? So make sure you get a good list, but like focus on the no's. And this is something that's reverse from what most gurus and most beginners in wholesaling say, but focus on getting no's. And that is really uncommon for most people to say. But if you really want to look at the truth of things, when you focus on just getting a bunch of no's and you get at least 450 no's, you're going to at least get 20 yeses in there. And those yeses are going to lead to a deal. And really 10K a month can be 1 to 2 deals. But really for most people, if you know how to lowball correctly, heck, it might be even 8 deals a year, even less than a deal a month, right? Like even 8, 9 deals, if you can get 12, 13, 14K a deal, right? Heck, I can't even get deals under 25K anymore just because we're lowballing so much with this market that it's like 6 deals a year for my business, right? If I was going to make 10K a month. So I sort of look at wholesaling real estate like that. You got to make things very, very simple. And when you start focusing on not the result, but the actual action it takes. And I always say this, but like action does equal results. So if my result is $10,000 a month, right? Let's say 120K a year. If my main goal, my main focus is on making a 10K a month, 10K a month, 10K a month, right? I'm not going to get anywhere because I want 10K a month. That's all I care about. But if I focus instead right here, like getting 300 to 500 leads a week, 500 leads a week, 500 leads a week, 500 yeses, not yeses, but 500 contacts, like just focus on the contacts. You're most likely, because you have an achievable goal that you can actually start setting forth, and really they'll help us out a lot, right? And this is going to be pushing some volume, guys. Like this isn't beginner stuff right now, but like if you push the volume, talking to sellers, you're going to do fine, right? And this is a lot of work. I totally get it, but like, it's a decent amount. But like, I would say if you're serious about this too, like you want to get good money, I would probably focus on calling at least 50 cash buyers a week. And this is probably 150, maybe 200 DMs. And that's a lot. I get it, right? But like, you got to risk it for the biscuit. And if you're in a big market, it's actually going to be not that difficult to find these type of sellers out here. So I would be focusing really hard on the cash buyers too, especially if I'm in a higher ARV market where it might be a little harder if I'm a lower population, higher ARV to find cash buyers. So I'm really gonna have to talk around and really see where people are at and how things are going. And that's gonna lead us to a lot of success here. Next here, what am I gonna do? I think if you start getting some momentum in this business, you're gonna have a lot of follow-ups in your CRM, right? And you got the hot leads. I think at minimum, at work, like at the lowest level, you should be at minimum 25 follow-ups a week. And what is this going to be in 5 days? 4 or 5 follow-ups a week if you can get really at that level where you're getting a lot of leads coming in. And that is sort of the point, right? We're pushing a lot of the yeses. We give them the CRM, then we push hard. You don't get a deal, follow up. That is the point today, right? Like we are trying to get as many follow-ups as we can, because these follow-ups are going to lead to appointments, which are going to lead to stinking deals, guys. Okay. The fourth one here, right? Fifth one here. We're going to follow up at least 14 cash buyer follow-ups. And not a lot of people talk about cash buyer follow-ups, but cash buyer follow-ups are super important in this business. Okay. Cash buyer follow-ups is just following up with their cash buyers, not for a lead or to close anything, but seeing how the cash buyer is doing, see their business, what areas they're looking. Hey, I'm doing some marketing. Where should I post some marketing? Just building that relationship. Guys, you need to have a human connection, an actual real relationship with your cash buyers. And if you're not having this human relationship with the cash buyers, heck, it's going to be extremely hard for you to sell these deals. And you want to sell these deals very well and have a lot of success with them. So that's what I would be focusing on. Next here is very important, right? But offers. I want people to understand this. The most important stat you can look at in your own real estate business, if you look at your wholesaling real estate business, like what stat's super important? What stats should I focus on? What is one of the most important stats for me to have in my own business? I can tell you straight up, offers are going to be them. If you are not making offers, you are not doing deals. And I can go up to any single person right now in their wholesaling real estate operation that's saying, hey, I'm doing all the leads you're saying, and I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm just getting no deals. Heck, dude, you're not making enough offers. So I get a lot of people saying, I'm doing this marketing. Oh, I don't care. Like, I honestly, I hate to call myself rash or mean or something like that, but like, when I hear somebody complaining that they're not getting the deals and they deserve to get deals, I go straight up for this. I say, hey, Mr. Seller, Mr. Wholesaler, how many offers have you made this week? And if someone says, I made no offers, how do you expect to get any deals done, any offers? And I think this is one of the most underrated stats in wholesaling real estate. But this business is all about offers, even if they're bad offers. If you're swinging, right? Like if you're going, when you're swinging on a baseball, you shoot a shot, there's still a chance it goes in. We call it a puncher's chance in fighting, right? Like you still got a puncher's chance to win because heck, you can land one. It might be a low percentage, but if you keep shooting, it's going to go in. Now, I'd rather you do high percentage shots. Shots are most likely to go in. You don't want to waste your time with like full court shots, but like, heck, if you could just line yourself up at somebody that wants to sell their property and give them an offer, you make enough offers, you're going to do deals. And a lot of people avoid doing offers because they're nervous, they're scared to talk to sellers, and they're afraid. And really, to get over this fear of giving offers, you just got to do it. And the worst they say is no, they kick you out of the house, you're closer to your dream. Every offer you make, you actually become closer to your dream. And that's what you have to understand. And once you realize that every single offer you make, the closer you are to making 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month, financial freedom, you and your family, you could probably, I can't even stop you from giving offers once you start having that mindset. So switch up your mindset of I'm scared to talk to sellers. I'm scared to go on the phone. Every single cold call you make, every single offer you make, you're closer to your dream. And eventually you keep making those offers, those cold calls, you're going to get that deal, that second deal, the third deal, and you're in the money. And that's the point of today. That's the point I want to talk about for most people. Within 90 days, you want to start implementing these actions. You got to start asking yourself, what am I going to do to get this level? How do I get these calls? How do I get these cash buyers? How do we get all these no's? You got to figure out with the marketing schedule, right? You go to wholesaling.com, you figure it out, but it all comes down to offers, right? And you look at a lot of things too, right? No marketing is equal to no deals. And there's about 3 or 4 things that are going to kill a real estate wholesaling business starting out, right? So if you're trying to get up in the next 3 months to a bunch of deals, you got to focus on your marketing, your acquisitions, and your dispositions, right? Those are the 3 things you got to focus on. And marketing, focus on talking to sellers, getting out there, getting the word, and getting yeses to people wanting to sell the property. Then you go to acquisitions, really making offers, appointments, all these things. And then dispositions, how many cash buyers we're talking to you. That's what it is. No offers are equal to no deals. And I have a little saying. It's really corny. It's really hilarious, but it's true. But mo offers, mo deals. No offers, no deals. No offers, no deals. Mo offers, mo deals. And no and mo kind of rhyme, but more offers, more deals. No offers, no deals. No offers, no deals. More offers, more deals. And really, you just kind of think about that in your head. It'll probably help you out a little more. But kind of what I talk about every single day, kind of what I talk about all the time is just making these offers out here. And the more offers you make, the better you're going to do, right? And heck, I have to do cringy sayings to make you actually make offers in your business, but that's what it's going to take. So the last question I get, one of the most important ones I get is like, Zach, there's this guy out here, he's making $500,000 a year in wholesaling in Houston or Dallas or whatever it is, right? And they're like, oh, I wish I could be at that, right? Like how? He's just so much better than me, right? And it's really funny when I get people say that. And I always tell them just to become a copy ninja, right? And I've been talking a lot about Naruto lately because I've been rewatching the entire thing lately. And I've been watching a lot, and they got a character on here, and I don't want to get too much. He's called the copy ninja, right? And what he basically does is he finds somebody that makes a move, right? And then he can copy it. And I don't get the whole thing. It's kind of funny the way you look at it, but like you basically do a special move, and he can copy it in like an instant and find it, right? And so what makes him really good, because like you can use a special move. He'll find it out in a second and then redo it to you. Even while you're doing it, he can copy you. And he's called the Copy Ninja. Now, you got to use the same thing in your whole wholesaling business. You don't have to, I mean, that's all fantasy land, but you look at real land. Become a copy ninja. So if I find a guy making $500,000 a year, I'm gonna be like, okay, let me figure out exactly what he's doing and copy him. And heck, even if I'm 60% of his level, even 60%, I'll at least make 250 to 300K a year. Because if I'm marketing to the same lead list as he is, but I'm like a month off, the timing, I'm going to hit a couple sellers at the right time and do some deals. So just copy them, right? So if I find a guy in San Antonio and he's doing really well, I'm going to figure out what type of list he's pulling, how many leads he's doing, what areas he's wholesaling in, who are his top cash buyers. And these are all things I teach at freewholesaling.com. I'm just going to copy him, and then I'm just going to do what he does and become really good, right? That is the point, guys and gals. You want to become a copy ninja with the top wholesalers in your market. And it works to an extent. I get a lot of people trying to copy me, and it never works. And the reason why copying me in my own market doesn't work is because y'all like to cherry pick on the copying, right? And if you're going to copy somebody, and I just hope you know, like you look at the real copy ninja, right? The one in the TV shows, he copies everything. So if you're going to copy me in my own business, you're going to have to copy the marketing I do. And you might try your same marketing, but if you use your same stupid guru acquisitions, stupid little closing, it's never going to work. Okay. If you do my marketing, you have to copy my cold calling script. If you use my list with a guru cold calling script, you're not going to win. The truth is, most of my marketing is already done by pretty much all my competition. I still win because I have the right scripts. And a lot of people out in my market actually use my same scripts with the same lists. But how do I win? Because of my acquisitions. And the acquisitions is not a script you can copy word for word. Actually caring for people, being empathetic and not sympathetic. Let me say that one more time. With your sellers, you have to be empathetic, not sympathetic. That's very, very important. And then last but not least is just being at that appointment for hours and doing whatever it takes to the seller. That's very hard to copy. And that's one thing that most wholesalers can't do. Dispositions, actually having deals to give to cash buyers, helping them out, using title companies, using everything we teach on actually how to find cash buyers with title companies, all my little hidden gems, my tactics, how to go on Facebook, copy kids that are doing deals, finding their markets, finding what they're doing, all these things. These are all the little tiny things that you copy every single time to actually get a huge advantage over them. And once you start doing these things, guys and gals, your life will start changing. And I promise you, you keep going out here and doing it, you'll do very well, okay? I think so many wholesalers out here, they're not copying, they're top sellers, right? They're trying to play it by ear. And really, heck, if I want to be like Kobe Bryant, I might not have the physical skills as him, but if I do what he did, right, where I practice basketball for 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 months straight, I guarantee you I'm going to be a lot better at basketball. And if I kind of copy his moves and his style, I study that for an extra hour a day, I can almost guarantee you, I'm not going to be as good as him, obviously, but if I do that for years, I'm going to be very good, right? And if I just did that at 17 years old all the time, I probably would never be on his level, but I'd be pretty dang good. And I know many basketball players, even in the elite level, starting out at 16, 17, they're doing that. But the ones that are, they're getting the NBA, they're doing very well, right? The reason why he tells everybody his training routine, all this stuff, because he knew nobody was willing to do it. He knew that. He was like, nobody's going to work harder than me. Why do you think I'll do live cold calling and I'll close sellers and I'll use my best tactics to close sellers in front of everybody? My competition, everyone. Even though I know you guys are probably going to call that same seller on the live that I just did because it was a FISBO, just try to undercut me because a broke guru listens to me and they tell everyone to do that to undercut me, and I still get the deals. Why? Because I know for a fact you can't copy my style, okay? Because so many people go out here, they try to copy my style, and you got to have your own style and you got to do it the right way. Me caring for a seller, me actually have authenticity in my voice. Most people can't do that. But once you can copy that for yourself and actually do it for yourself, you become successful. But you got to go out here and do the best you can. But that's actually how you make 10K a month, right? Really, the last part here is how much should you allocate your time? How much time with cash buyers? How much time with motivated sellers? Honestly, I really think that you should probably adopt a 70-30 approach. And what I mean by this, I think if you're in a lower ARV market, I would spend at least 70% of your time with sellers and about 30% on cash buyers. Because in low ARV markets, when there's not a lot of buyers, maybe there's low ARV, a bunch of buyers. This is like Memphis, parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma is like this too, right? Where it's very low ARVs, but high amount of cash buyers. That's all fine. If you're in a high ARV market where it's a little easier to find cash buyers, I'd probably do 80-20. 80% of my time talking with sellers, and then 20% of my time actually out here talking to cash buyers and that. But if you take that schedule, if you guys actually go out here to freewholesaling.com, my free real estate wholesaling course right here, I can tell you you're going to have a lot better chance and you're going to be a lot more successful with talking to these motivated sellers. I think so many people, they don't do what it takes to become successful. You're going to have to push past that point and do whatever it takes, right? And I get so many people asking me like, Zach, what drove you to success? All I got to do is like kind of go here and I can show you, right? So I've had this thing on, this is my office at my house. I've had this little office set up for a while now. And I have a lot of things that motivate me, a lot of things that I like on here, right? But one thing I can tell you is the most motivating part, and I've had this thing in my hand since the first day I started wholesaling real estate. I want everybody to understand I've had this little thing. It's probably been the most motivating thing I've ever had in my entire business career. And I've always had it like somewhere when I was cold calling, right? Always when I was cold calling, talking to sellers, I even had this thing in my car and it stands right here on the videos, okay? And this is my name tag when I was a bag boy at Publix, okay? This is my name tag. I don't know if it's gonna show it here, but this was my name tag right here, okay? Since I was 14 years old, I had this little thing, okay? It's my name tag when I quit, when I got my first 2 deals. And this is the same name tag I have right here. I want everybody to understand this. If y'all want to understand what pushed me so hard to become successful in wholesaling, because I looked at this thing and I knew if I didn't do that cold call, if I didn't cold call 5 hours today, I knew if I didn't go out here and push myself, put my bandit signs out, I would have to put the stupid little name tag back on and start scrubbing toilets and cleaning dookie off of things and then bagging groceries. I knew this is what I never wanted. So I kept this thing as a reminder. And I always looked at it sometimes when I feel like a little sorry punk to myself that I don't want to do work. I say, what's more of a sorry punk? Having this thing on me with a little apron, bagging groceries, or me actually going in here and doing the thing I don't want to do? And it's always a great reminder to myself that I want to put life in my own hands. I want to control my own life. And if I look at this thing, there's nothing that's going to stop me from making $10,000 a month in wholesaling when I was starting out, right? And I did it ever since I started, right? And scaling a business, tough times, everything, especially in business. I look at this thing and I'm like, heck, there's nothing that can stop me. And you guys have to have that why and that reason. And if you don't have something that pushes you past the point of no return, when, I hate to say it, when you feel like a sorry little punk, when you feel like quitting, when you feel like being a quitter, if you don't have that little thing that's in the back of your head, or maybe something that can make you think of that, that's going to stop you. And then there's going to be nothing that's going to stop you from quitting. And then you quit and that dream isn't fulfilled. I'm not saying to have a little memento or anything like that, but like something that inspires you, something that, you know for a fact subconsciously when you're feeling motivated. If I look at this thing, even when I feel like I want to quit, I ain't going to quit. For most people, it's a picture of your wife or your husband, or it's a picture of the kids or a dog or any of these things. That's going to push you hard too, right? And you got to look at everything, right? And heck, like I painted the skull when I was 7 with my aunt. I always thought that skull's pretty cool. And that skull represents a lot of things too, right? Humble beginnings as a kid. And number one, we're going to be dead one day, right? And do you want to live your entire life knowing you didn't reach your whole life at its true potential or not? And I got one in Mexico. I thought it was kind of cool, Day of the Dead stuff. But honestly, that's the way I look at life. That's the way I look at pushing myself. And heck, you need to do that for yourself. So if you want to make $10,000 a month, you need an action plan, you need a why, and you need some hustle. Like I don't know what to say, but that action, that it factor to go out here and do it, that'll lead you to success. So guys, that is it. That is my $10,000 a month action plan guide. That's how you build that operation in less than 90 days. The drive, the dedication, the planning, go out here and live your dreams. That is what it is, guys. So what I want to do is answer some questions today, and we'll get it going, guys. I promise you, I'm here to help everybody out. I will not be distracted. A little distracted, right? But I'll tell you straight up, guys, I'm here to help as many people as possible. And that's what I want to do. So let me get everything. Let's get it going. So I promised myself. So I did not, but I kind of have it in the corner just in case I had any craziness going on. So let's answer some questions. Let's see how I can help the people out. You already know I got split screen monitors, so don't worry about it. So it's all good. Don't worry. But let's go answer some questions and let's see how I can help the people out. But yeah, we got some one-on-ones today too, guys. So remember, I'll have a StreamYard link I posted in here. So let me pop the StreamYard link on here for y'all. So here is the StreamYard link. Hold on, let's pop it up. All right, here it is right here. So if you want to hop on, talk to me for free. That is it. And we'll talk to you guys and see how I can help you become the best wholesaler possible. So let's get it going. Actually rooting for the Dolphins today. Hey, you got a Patriots fan on here. That's awesome. One of my favorite people. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Gabriel says, when will we be continuing the 30-day wholesaling challenge? So I just finished the Drawing for Deals challenge. I actually finished that last week. So I'm challenged out for the year. You got these challenges during the right times, right? And so you really got to look at it the right way. But I'll be continuing the 30-day challenge once. That's a once-a-year thing. Most likely what I like doing the 30-day challenge is in June or July, because that's when most younger people, teenagers, get out of school and they can actually get their first deal in 30 days. So I'm probably going to continue that tradition in the summer of having a 30-day wholesaling challenge and probably another crazy challenge between there, right? I think I got to remember which one I'm going to do next year, right? So I think 2 challenges a year is good enough for me. They're pretty intense, but I think the 30-day challenge is going to be a really good one. So what we're going to do is probably in 6 months, we're going to do that challenge, right? So 6 months and then another 6 months to another challenge. So that's the way I'm looking at challenges right now. So also a little bit of housekeeping for everybody on here since we got the holidays coming up, which pretty cool. I'm looking at my calendar right here. So I'll be live next week. Week after, we got Christmas, so I'll definitely not be live. But we're going to do something. I'll record a video for you guys. I might go live on the 26th. And then we got New Year's Day, which I might go live on the 2nd. So be live from this week, next week, and then a couple of weeks might be off, but might change up the live stream schedule a little bit for y'all. But definitely not New Year's or Christmas. But yeah, I'll still be here doing crazy stuff. But you know me, riding around town, doing whatever I want. That's kind of the way I'm doing it. So what's up? Ralph says, what's up, Zach? I helped the guy close his first deal the other week. Met him from your group. We made a $15,000 split evenly. Thanks for all you've done. You never charged me, but made me money. Thanks again. Ralph, really appreciate that. DM me. I'd love to have you on the podcast and really break down that. Love to break that whole down, how you did that JV. That's pretty cool. That's what I love doing, right? A lot of people send me deals. I JV with them. It works out pretty well. But yeah, so 15K split evenly. That's, I mean, $7,500. That ain't a bad one. I'm telling you guys. Here, yeah, and that's 17.5 each. That's really not bad. Hey, good for you. Awesome. Kenny says, hello, Zach. Knocked out 2 for my drawing for dollars with everybody, and yesterday helped a local newbie get their first one under agreement. I'll finish it off from the buyer. Keep bringing it, Zach. Love it, guys. That's what I want to do. You know, I sort of look at it as positive momentum. Me helping so many people for free makes so many other people want to teach wholesale for free, and that creates an upward spiral of people helping people out. And heck, if we can keep the momentum up, we can help everybody Get rid of the broke gurus and just help people make their first deal absolutely for free and not charge for it. I love seeing that stuff. So Kalen says, how many leads is this? I get about 50 probates per week. Code violation about the same. About 100. That'll probably give you 30 contacts. So yeah, you got to push the numbers up a little more. I mean, if you're doing code violations and you're actually talking to sellers, you could go a little lower, but it depends on the quality of the leads. Corley says, hey, Zach, been watching you a couple days, did the course, but I'm confused. I don't understand the 7% rule. Like, when does that mean? I didn't really get it. How do you know what buyers buy? Go to the comp section. I do not use 70% rule. 70% rule is the stupidest rule I've ever seen ever. And if you use the 70% rule, which I explain why it's so dumb and stupid, if you use a 70% rule on a high ARV property, that means the person that's buying your deal is going to make $90,000. And there's nobody in this market, any regular cash buyer, that is making $90,000 profit. They're making 40, 50, heck, at most 60. Okay. And that's doing a lot of improvements, right? They're not doing that. Okay. They're on average making 30 to 40. And that brings your ARV percentage a lot more down. And I don't care what broke guru, I don't care what, there's some rich gurus out here that are saying the 7% rule, but they don't do deals. And that's because they use old information that doesn't work. Cash buyers are not buying at 70% now. Now, heck, if your ARV is below 150, I can see it, right? But a lot of your people they're wholesaling in areas where really low ARVs where 70% does work, right? So, heck, if I'm doing like Dayton, Ohio, and I'm buying a house for 30K or 40K in the Midwest, yeah, heck, use the 7% rule all day. But if I'm in, let's say, Atlanta on a deal that the ARV is 350, I'm not using 70% of that's going to just not work at all. And because someone's trying to blanket a one rule fits all thing, no, okay, I don't care that your house worth 40K. Me out here in San Bernardino ain't going to work like that, okay? The 7% rule is never intended to work for every single property. These gurus got you shook. These gurus got you confused. Do not use 70%. It is the worst rule I've ever seen. It didn't even work when I started wholesaling, okay? So I don't get it. Has he said, is he update free wholesaling? Yes, I do update freewholesaling.com, okay? Kind of fun, but yeah. And heck, I do updates on my live streams too, so yeah. I always say too, make 100K before you hire a VA because you're going to feed your VA stuff you don't know about. And when you talk out of your butt, you're not going to do very well. All right. I think everybody watching this has to understand if you talk out of your butt with a VA and you actually don't know how to train a VA correctly, that's when you get your butt whooped in wholesaling. Okay. You're going to actually have to go out here and do what you actually say. So I think a lot of wholesalers get that confused too, right? They try to understand everything, right? Like, oh my gosh, you know what? I want to understand wholesaling. I want to understand cold calling, but I'm just going to hire a VA to cold call because that's what a guru told me. And why did a guru say it? Because they're trying to sell you on this VA program, and they're all just trying to make money off of you, right? Like that's why the gurus are doing their little guru things. The honest truth here is you do not need a VA to start cold calling, right? You don't need a VA actually out here to become successful. The honest truth here is you don't need a VA because if you're teaching this VA stuff that you don't really know, you're going to give bad vibes to them and you're not going to give them really good information because the VA might ask you, hey, am I doing it right or not right? You don't even know how it works. So what are you going to do there, right? And I hire coders for websites and you understand what makes a website look good or not. You don't understand what makes a good cold call. You don't understand what KPIs are right. You don't understand what works in your market. It drives me crazy, right? Like I always look at fighting and you always look at the best fighting trainers. They actually know how to fight, right? It's just funny. But, Bill Belichick wasn't a good football player. I can tell you straight up, Bill Belichick understood football. He played football still. Like you look at the top coaches of all time too, they all are almost masters of the game. You don't have to be a master, but at least you have to get something under your belt. Get some deals under your belt before you actually start. I'd say make 100K first before you start hiring VAs. All right. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all the top entrepreneurs, right, that scaled things up to insane proportions. Even Steve Jobs, They all built prototypes by themselves with their whole little team by themselves, basically, and then hired people out to do mass things, which are VAs, right? They did the 4 or 5 deals, and they bring it to a VA to do thousands of deals, right? You can't do it all by yourself starting out. It's like going out here to China to get your prototype made. No, you got to do it all yourself. Okay, like you got to learn how to do it, and then you can get people up here. I used to be in the plumbing field. I ain't peddling. Wholesale. Yeah, I think Justin's got enough juice to get out here to get going. I think he's excited. I think he knows why. Let's see here. I would stop cold calling probably past 8 p.m. That's my opinion now. Sad said, how many offers should we make per week? It depends, right? Like one offer a week can be 1 deal a week. I would say if you're making at least 4 or 5 offers a week, I think you're in a good place. And if they're high quality, people that want to sell, that actually have some motivation, that should be good. 5's pushing it though. I think that's a lot still. Let's see. What keeps me going is never wanting to have to go back and deal with poop. Used to be in the plumbing field and refused to go back. I love it. Ralph says, I want to see a start from zero Zach Ginn challenge where you start a brand new wholesale business from scratch. I mean, heck, bro. I do a lot of these Zillow for sale by owners where I close $15,000 deals just on a live stream in 2 hours. So you can go watch any of those if you want. Start from business scratch. I mean, I can have more podcasts if you want people that I taught from scratch how to do it. I mean, let me know what you want to do. I show deals I do, but I mean, let me know what you specifically want. But yeah, that seems interesting. Tony York says, can you run through a list of actions real quick? So actions would be cold calling, text blasting, reverse drawing for dollars, and cold calling that list. You can even go out here and JV deals, right? There's a lot of ways you could do it. I think for most people, cold calling, SMS, and reverse drawing for dollars are going to be the top 3 things to do. I mean, I probably wouldn't say direct mail for people starting out, but I mean, that is a list of action you can take. The problem is the action is not sexy, right? Maybe it's 2 hours of drawing for dollars a day for a week straight and then getting that going. That might be it too. Gabriel says, Zach, I'm currently on family leave for the next 3 months, and I'm trying to get my first deal, but don't know which market. I'm local. Do your local market in Southern Cal. But it depends where. If you're in Inland Empire, I'd probably do it. So let's talk to some people one-on-one. Let's see if I can help some people get a little better in their wholesaling business and see what I can do to help. So let's see what we got. Rich. Yo, you're muted.
Yo, can you hear me?
You're muted.
What? You can't hear me?
Wait, hold on. I think I'm muted. Hold up. Try it again.
Yo, can you hear me?
There you go. What is up, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm blessed to. How can I help you out? What's going on?
Just have a couple questions. So the first one is, how do you find boots on the ground? And then how do you make it where the buyer doesn't talk to the seller? Like, do you have the boots on the ground do that?
Yeah, so what market are you in?
Fresno? Virtual?
Fresno. So if you're in Fresno, virtually?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're going to do Fresno, I'd probably go to the Central Valley. I think that's what they call them. The Central Valley jobs Facebook groups. And just find somebody that is willing to take pictures and show a property. Get inside of it, get access, and show a property. That's going to be the best one. I would avoid any real estate groups or realtors or other wholesalers because there's just too many risks of them trying to steal the deal. A regular old Joe that just wants $100 for taking pictures of a house, it's a lot safer.
I gotcha. And are you also telling them that they might be putting on like the lockbox?
Yeah.
And then also, like, how do you coordinate where like the boots on the ground is making sure, because you're going to be having them show the buyer the home, right?
Depends on the buyer. If they're really trusted, I can have a buyer go by. If they're not, I might have the boots on the ground go buy it a couple of times for that buyer. So it just depends.
And how do you like make it where like the boots on the ground is making sure the buyer isn't talking to the seller if the seller is there?
Well, you can't stop that, right? Because you're not there. So the guy really wants to be a jerk face. He's going to do it, right? Like he's going to do it.
I got you.
But you just got to have a stern talk to the buyer and just say, hey, my boots on the ground is going to make sure it's all going smooth. The problem is it's more about conditioning the cash buyer and letting him know, because your boots on the problem is when I go in person, I actually talk to the seller to distract them while the cash buyer is going through. Your
Yeah.
boots on the ground can't do it. Your cash buyer is probably going to have to talk to the buyer and just asking questions about it. Hey, I'm actually, Rich's partner, and we're going by looking at the property, looking to buy it. They're going to have to most likely, you can go the whole, I'm just here to inspect the property type role, or the, hey, I'm Rich's partner type role.
Okay.
Because the seller's probably going to ask questions. And the cash buyer might have questions like, hey, how old are the trusses or something like that. I feel like if you go in the partner route, it will be fine. Now, the conversation gets bad is how much do you have it locked up for? And all that's when it gets weird. And you're honestly have a wrong buyer at that point. You have to have a stern conversation with the cash buyer saying, hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, you're here to look at the property. The seller might ask you some questions. You're in as my partner. Don't ask too many questions, but like, I just don't want to lose out on this deal here. But they're going to go. They know you're here. You're going to have to be in and out in like 5 or 10 minutes at most, though. Go from there.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's really just gonna come down to like that one-on-one understanding between me and the cash buyer.
Yeah, because it'd be weird. He just walks in there and just no speaking, right?
Sure.
And
Okay. That kind of,
walk like, is this guy really his partner? Because you're going to have to tell you're going to have to tell your seller that that's your partner, right?
yeah,
And it's going to be weird if he hops in and just doesn't talk, right?
sure. Okay.
Hey, hey,
That
hey, I'm Rich's partner. Okay, this makes sense. This is fine, right? Okay. And
gotcha.
because some sellers like, hey, how long have you guys been buying houses? Like just trying to make conversations. And so like then the sellers, then it's going to be a little weird, right? But as long as the buyer knows, it's going to be fine.
I gotcha. Okay, cool. That was a really big question I had. And then the second one is, so True People Search, um, when you enter in the address, there's like a lot of contacts that pop up.
Yeah.
Do you go for the one with that has the current address as it, or do you go with the first name that pops up?
If the name is the owner still, I'd go after the name because it might be an absentee owner. So I'd
Mhm.
probably go after name if that's what the name is on.
But a whole
On
bunch of names will pop up. Will I go with the first name that pops up?
Probably if the address is associated with it.
Okay. And then with that being said, since there's a whole bunch of numbers, um, do you just recommend me putting in the sweat equity and calling one by one, or skip trace it and put it on Excel? Because you know how there's like different numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably just call the mobile numbers and go from there. You're not going to know which one's going to be it, but you just got to call.
So just literally go one
Yeah,
by
I'd
one
probably
then.
call. I would skip the landlines, but yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And then this is gonna be the last one for me, and I appreciate everything. So right now I haven't had any deals yet. Do you suggest like finding cash buyers at the same time?
You can't. Where are you at right now?
As far as what market or
Yeah,
where
where
am
do you
I at?
live right now?
I live in San Jose.
Okay. So if you're in San Jose right now, you're gonna do virtual. That stinks. Okay.
Yeah.
I would probably if you're in Fresno, I'd probably still do an 80-20. So I think that's a good amount. Just find out how much time you can spend a week in wholesaling. Spend
Okay.
20% of that time with cash buyers, 80% on wholesaling
And are
and
you
finding
just
the deals, marketing.
okay, 80/20, I gotcha. And then are you just telling them straight up like, hey, like I'm new to the area, haven't had any deals yet, but looking to add to the
No,
cash buyer
I
side?
don't say that because I think that's too much information that might make you even look worse.
Okay.
Hey, I'm a wholesaler. Are you looking to buy any more deals? I'm looking to sell some deals. Before I can sell you some deals, I got to know what areas. You tell me the area, I'm going to go market. I'm going to get some deals under contract, send it to you. And so you kind of move it over, right? Like,
Yeah,
hey,
you found
I
out.
want to give you some deals, but you got to let me know where you want to buy. Then I'm going to market to that area. I'm a little newer, but I'm ready to go.
That appreciate it, man.
I paid Zach Ginn $5,000 to learn wholesaling, so I better dang work. It's your mindset, right?
For sure.
So yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Appreciate
don't
it, bro.
worry about the boots on the ground thing. I think a lot of people get it over. It's all about conditioning the seller.
Okay. Yeah, that
Sorry,
was one thing
conditioning
that was
the
kind
cash
of
buyer. My bad.
holding me up was just like stressing about the boots on the ground and making sure the buyer doesn't talk to the seller. But what you said kind of makes sense. Is like, I mean, they're gonna have to talk, or else it's gonna look like a little weird, right? So just
Yeah, and remember when you're closing a seller, hey, me and my partner are going to buy the house, not just you, right? So you kind of make it a partner thing, and that's sort of like that comes back to talking to sellers. Talking to cash buyers and be like, hey, you're going to be my partner on this transaction. I'm talking to sellers that me and my partner are looking to buy it. Are you okay if I say it like that? Yeah, that's fine. Good to go.
for sure.
Awesome, man. Any other questions?
Uh, what time do you go lives and do the one-on-ones on the weekdays?
Weekdays, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be 10 your time.
And
And
then
hop
Sunday.
on, ask any questions you got.
For sure, man. Let's get it.
All right. Appreciate it, Rich. Make sure you go to Wholesaling Houses for Real, the Facebook group, because that's where the links are going to be on during the weekdays.
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate it, Rich. Have you started marketing yet?
I've started pulling lists. Yeah, I got code violations, and then I just got a list of the water shutoffs. Probates, the public records weren't able to give it to me, so I think I just clicked on the wrong department.
Okay. Are you learning who the top wholesalers are in the area?
I'm not.
All right. So do that. I'm going to give you a little hint between you and me. Okay. This is between you and me. All right. No one's going to know this. I'm not going to say any words, but there's a couple guys out here that like making videos about wholesaling. They don't have a lot of viewers, or they're not the most popular out here, but they regularly make content on wholesaling and what works for them. Might want to look what they're doing. Hey, this list is working for you. Okay. Like, hey, I'm going to let you do it. You seem very smart. You seem like you can figure it out, but
All right.
Facebook's going to be your best tool for finding people like that. That's all I can tell you.
For sure.
Do some good internet searching. You will find some people that make videos. The information is probably not good at all. You're not here for their info. You're here for what they do and how they say it works for them. And then you get from there. All right?
For sure.
You're copy ninja, bro.
All right, bro.
All right. Have a good one. Appreciate it. Guys, that's how you infiltrate these markets, okay? First of all, you do what I say, and then you find what the top wholesalers in the area does, and then you kind of add that in with what you're doing, and you start doing a huge mix of infiltration, kind of your stuff, my stuff, what the top people are doing. It's going to be hard to lose out. And then you add in your secret sauce of going after it and sticking to it and consistently doing deals, consistently marketing, you're going to do well. Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. My question pertains to the Phoenix market. Because I live in Mesa, Tempe area, and oftentimes I hear people. At least recently, I've heard you say that that Phoenix is probably not the best place to do D for D or something along those lines. And I just want to get some insight into one, why that's the case, and two, if that applies to the whole Phoenix metro area or just to Phoenix.
I think I'm muted here. The reason why Phoenix is not the best drawing for dollars market is, two main things, right? First of all the foundations are built on a stinking rock. So that makes it a little harder for a house to kind of get in disarray. Now, there's ugly houses, and the biggest contributor to houses becoming ugly are just people. So you got that factor on there. Number one, because the foundations are literally built on rocks. So not a lot of rain damage. Most stuff that most houses mold, a little harder for mold to be going on there in Phoenix, right? Not impossible, but just it's a lot harder, right? And the second part is there's just a lot of people drawing for dollars, and you kind of add that on there. There is a lot of drawing for dollars leads. There's a lot of ugly houses in Phoenix. The main issue arises from just the saturation of it from there. So that's why if you add reverse drawing for dollars, you have a good opportunity to kind of have a leveled playing field where the odds kind of tip in your favor, right? You look at it like playing blackjack. If you're just doing drawing for dollars, you're probably not going to beat the house. But if you had some reverse drawing for dollars on there, maybe reverse drive for dollars pre-foreclosures, code violations, most people aren't willing to do that. And you're sort of counting cards at that point where you have the advantage over the house, where you start doing that. That's when you start getting some deals, right? So that's sort of the way I sort of look at it.
And does that apply to the saturation issue apply to the entire Phoenix metro area, or just to Phoenix? Does it apply
Maricopa
to
County, yeah,
the whole county? Got it.
to hit Tucson, it's like that, and it's a big mix, right? Because most of Phoenix was built in the 60s and later, so a lot of the homes are actually nicer and it's very desired, right? So a lot of buyers like it. Good rental, favorable economy, and a favorable politicians when it comes to rentals and house flipping. Growing market, things like that. That's how it works, you know. And then a big portion of it is because since a lot of the houses were built in the 60s and 70s, a lot of them are going to start needing work right now, right? So that's why it's very favorable, and it's just a bigger market.
Okay. And I think there's a second part to the. Oh yeah, you answered the second part of the question. So essentially, if one wants a competitive edge, especially starting out in Phoenix, they have to implement a wider array of marketing strategies, including reverse D4D, especially.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, man. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. Let me know if you got any other questions. Love to help you out. But I mean, dude, it comes back to you, man. There's a lot of people in Phoenix wholesaling, so you can figure out pretty quick where the top dogs are doing and probably copying them.
Right. So I mean, it's despite the fact it's competitive, at the end of the day, it is still possible to get my first deal in Phoenix.
Dude, how many kids growing up in your high school wanted to be in the NBA?
I don't know, but probably quite a few.
Probably quite a few. Does Kobe Bryant care that everybody in his school wanted to be in the NBA?
No.
No, he didn't care. Like, at the point is, like, it's competitive, but if you can rise above those people and just work harder, you're gonna win.
All right.
That's
Thank
the way
you for
I
the
look at it.
inspiration, Zach.
All right, keep it up, man.
Peace.
Peace. Everybody wants to be rich, but are you willing to do what it takes to become rich? That is the question, and that's the way I look at it. Tony.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Hey, I wanted to ask, how would you go about picking a virtual market? Because I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I live in North Idaho. I'm right next to Spokane. Idaho is a non-disclosure state. Washington is a disclosure state, but it's seasonal here. It's not in the Sun Belt. Trying to figure out what's the best way to pick a virtual market. I've asked this question a lot. I don't get a lot of good answers. A lot of people say it depends on your goals, and then they don't elaborate. So what's your thought? How do I pick a good virtual market?
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Let me get, first of all, and you might roll your eyes when I ask you, but where in your market are you in? Like, I don't know how to say this the right way. Are you in Coeur d'Alene?
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene. That's a rougher market for wholesaling. I wish I could tell you it's not, but it is. It's a little weirder, right? You got that in Boise, which are insane. But I'll tell you this, those are the two big markets that were overpriced. So you're going to see a lot of drops. You can wholesale in those markets. The biggest thing is when you look at markets that drop really hard. So Port St. Lucie was one of them in 2008, 2010. You look at Cape Coral, which is one of the biggest ones. They're really good for wholesaling when the market drops, but it takes time for sellers to understand because everybody in your market probably thinks your house is still worth $1 million. Zillow hasn't changed anything really too much, and they haven't seen it. So, for example, I look at Spokane, Washington, right? How far are you from Spokane?
It's like 45-minute drive to downtown, so it's really close.
So I'm looking at the sellers in Spokane, right? Their Zillows are starting to pop down, right? I think Spokane's going to drop like crazy. I think your market's going to drop even crazier. Zillow's already starting to drop, right? And this is where most people get their information for the real estate market. So it's going to start going on. So I would probably stick in your local market still, even do a 50-50 approach. But let me answer your first question, okay? How do I pick a good virtual wholesaling market? Really, I only have one rule. Make sure your average ARV is below 300,000 and make sure the city or the county population is over 100,000. That is it. There's over, I think, 250 markets like that. Choose one.
Okay, so follow-up question. So I watched this video by Cody Sperber. I'm sure you've heard of him, but he goes to this website, housingalerts.com, and if you sign up and get a subscription, you can figure out what markets are the best for cash flow, or what markets are the worst for cash flow, best and worst for appreciation, and best and worst for appreciation and cash flow. So I guess in this market, seems like maybe flippers aren't as active as maybe buy and hold buyers. So would you recommend going after a virtual market that has more of an appreciation focus as opposed to or a cash flow focus as opposed to appreciation focus?
Tony, you're overthinking everything. I hate to tell you this, bro. You can make money in every market. So let me give you an example. I do a lot of wholesaling in a bunch of crazy Midwestern markets. One market I like is Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Houses in Detroit that I like wholesaling don't appreciate. Like, they're stuck at being bought for 30 and 40 grand. They're super duper cheap, and people just like to buy them and rent them out. Okay. I do a lot of wholesaling in my own market, which shoots off like a roof. You can do each one. Like, you can make money in markets that are really cheap. You can make markets that appreciate a lot, a little. It doesn't matter. And I think you're really overthinking this. You're kind of asking me, Zach, can I play basketball in Air Jordans, or can I play basketball in the Air Jordan V12? Like you're getting really into technical stuff, cash flow, appreciation. You don't need to know all that stuff. Okay, you're not buying the house. All that matters really is if you can buy properties for good discounts and there's enough buyers on there that are willing to buy it for that discount. And that's why the rule I gave you. And so this is why I keep it really simple. If your ARV is below 300K, you have a good shot at getting really good discounts on deals. Once ARV gets a little too high, people are less willing to give deep discounts. And then with your population over 100,000, there's enough buyers looking to buy to flip and looking to rent. When appreciations are shooting really high up, a lot of people like that for flipping. When cash flow is really nice, people really like that for rentals. Memphis doesn't appreciate like crazy, but it's one of the best cash buyer markets ever because they're cheap. It's in the Southeast, and hedge funds buy them like crazy, right? So really, you can take the cake on anything. One market's not going to change everything for you. It's about what you do in that market. Mm-hmm. And so, no. And because you got to understand, we're in a shifting market where your market was the hottest ever, but now it's probably going to be one of the worst hit. And so you really, what worked 6 months ago, 12 months ago is not going to work now.
So if I did want to pick a virtual market and not wholesale in my own area, I mean, I feel like all the advice I'm getting is just throw a dart at the dartboard. And I know I'm overthinking it, but
I've got 5 or 10 really good markets I know in my head that I actually wholesale, not really talked about too much, right? If I tell you what it is, everyone's going to go to that market.
All right,
like really tiny towns outside of a little metro market, they do really well. I'll give you one really hidden one that I've talked about forever. Columbus, Georgia. Made a lot of money in Columbus. Huge military base. No one really talks about. The population's over 200,000. Houses sell for under 200K. Amazing market. You've never heard any guru or coach ever talk about that. Ton of cash buyers. No one on YouTube ever talked about it. Nobody. That's a market that I'm telling everybody to go to right now, that everyone's going to flow into like crazy right now. That population is not big enough to bring 500 new virtual wholesalers in there, but I just did, right? Now I can give you probably 5 or 10 of them, but it's not going to get you any better. If you look at the population of counties and cities over 200,000, there's not a lot. There's about 200. Choose one, right? And if you get in the nitty gritty of the analytics of the future projections, it's pick a market, stick to it, right? And you can make a lot of money in all these markets. So it's up to you, man.
Okay. The next question, CRM, do you have any good recommendations?
Podio, it's free.
Okay. That's all I got.
Cool. Make sure you go. I have a guide at freewholesaling.com how to automate it. Most people charge around $500 for an automated CRM. And what they do is they actually go in there, they customize it, put the apps and do all that stuff. They charge $500 for it. What I basically did was it takes about 2 hours to do. And you might want to pay $500 for 2 hours. It's up to you. Most people aren't willing to do that. I go in for free. I go to Podio, I sign it up, and I customize it and show you actually how to do it step by step. So that's how you just don't get a blanket podio. You probably fail doing that. I'd probably do the customization in there. You do fine. What are you leaning towards? Are you doing virtual, in person? What are you thinking now after this conversation?
I guess I haven't made a decision. I still feel like I'm throwing a dart at the dartboard if I want to go virtual, but I've pulled a list, but I haven't skip traced it for my local area. So I might go with my local area.
How about we do this, okay? Since you're becoming indecisive, I want to cut that out.
Okay.
We're going to do a 50-50 approach, okay?
Okay.
So let's choose. All right, local market, we're good. All right, you're going to do this market in Spokane, right? Those are your, you're going to spend 50% of your, how much time are you willing to spend per week for wholesaling?
I mean, all of my time. I don't have a job or anything else. So
okay,
40 to 60 hours.
All right, we're going to put 20 hours in your local market and 20 hours in a virtual market. All right. Let's just do this really easy because you're pulling list, skip tracing it. Why don't you spend 10 hours reverse trying for dollars and then another 10 hours skip tracing and cold calling? All right.
Okay.
And then what I want you to do is pick a virtual market. Do you have any family in any markets you think that are kind of cheaply priced?
I only have family in Seattle and Minneapolis.
Okay. Not Twin Cities. Honestly, I'll just choose a market. That's all I can tell you. I would stick to the Southeast or Midwest. That's going to be my biggest hint for you. Okay.
Columbus,
and
Georgia.
then pick one of those markets and pull the government list and cold call them for the other 20 hours. And that's what I think you should do. So no more thinking, no more, just do it.
All right.
You know reverse trying for dollars?
I don't know what that is, but I have a video of yours pulled up.
All right. So you just get a sticky note. You find an ugly house. You stick it on this ugly house. Snow's already starting there, right?
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, we got like 5 feet of snow.
Yeah, that's going to be a little harder. You might want to pull the code violations then. I keep forgetting how up north you guys are out there. Skip the drawing for dollars. I'd probably do code violations, tax delinquencies. Do you know when taxes are due in your market?
No.
All right. I'll figure it out for you. Spokane is in Spokane. Taxes are due in the first half, second half, October 31st. So perfect. So taxes were due on October 31st for properties. So you should go to the county property appraiser and find a list of all the people that did not pay October 31st for their taxes. I'd skip trace and cold call those people in Spokane and then in your local county.
Okay. I have this on a list of things to do, but I've heard it's illegal to market to pre-foreclosures in Washington. That wouldn't
It's not a
mean it would be
pre-foreclosure.
illegal to go after or contact people that haven't paid their taxes, would it?
Do you have the law popped up?
I don't. No, I don't know exactly what it says.
Find the law and show me. I've never seen that law, but I can go look at it. Most of those laws are off of intent. So do the tax delinquency wouldn't be a pre-foreclosure per se, so I think you'd be fine.
Okay. All right. So go to
That's not reading that law.
county assessors and then just find the people that have not paid their taxes.
Yeah, they're off a year. They just didn't pay it. They're behind 3 or 4 months. Because of the snow and everything, it's going to be hard to drive for dollars. But people that haven't paid their taxes most likely might want to get rid of the property for cash. So
Okay.
let's stick to those.
So Spokane and Columbus, Georgia.
Sure. And then Coeur d'Alene, whatever county that's in, get the tax delinquencies. And I think that would be good because most people in your market are pulling the tax liens because they're not willing to go to the county. It's too much work for them. But you got a lot of time in your hands, you told me. So be good to go.
Yep.
All right. I think we got a good plan, man.
All right. Thank you.
Hop on next week. Let me know the list you got and see if you got it or not and how it can help you out.
All right. Great. Awesome. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. Boom. Awesome. So appreciate that from Tony there. And let's get to the next question here. All right. But yeah, guys, I'm telling for most people, it's kind of harder when you don't have family around there. And it does get a little weirder with the snow, you know. ever since I started talking to so many more wholesalers up north and me actually doing it, because I kind of stopped. Detroit's weird because like the snow hits, but it doesn't hit as hard as like some of these crazy northeastern places, right? So like you're looking at the weather in Detroit today. It's about 35, right? Not too crazy or snowy. So, I mean, it's getting a little snow, not too crazy. So you can still do it now. Some places get like feet of snow. So it does get a little crazy for it. So just be careful. All right. So Roberto says, how can a 16-year-old make a deal in Florida? So I got my first sale at 17 years old. So really what you got to do is you have to have a parent legal guardian or somebody 18 to actually sign the contract for you. And then either you can put it you can either put it in an LLC and then keep the funds in there until you turn 18. There's some crazy legal workarounds where you can actually make the LLC, the 18-year-old person or whoever there are, make the LLC, and then they have their own separate LLC. Then it's in that bank account. Then when we turn 18, they actually make you the president in there, and then they kind of get off of it, and then you get money from there. Or you get the 18-year-old guardian to get the cash. You give money for taxes, and then they can transfer the funds when you're 18. So we'll give it to you when you're 17. So a lot of ways out there. So many wholesalers get really confused with it. Oh, do I need an LLC? Do I not? When you're under 18, it's a special circumstance that possibly could be a good case for you. It really depends. But honestly, yeah. Outside of that, though, do I need an LLC? I don't think you need an LLC until you do at least 2 deals. That's my opinion for it. So Andre says, I'm in Dayton, Ohio. I've heard you say that city before. Any specific reason? Well, I've done deals in Dayton. Number 1, Montgomery County, Ohio. Number 2, there's a lot of cheap properties. There's a big population. Heck, you get cash buyers drawn from all the way up to, is that northeastern Kentucky? Wherever in Kentucky that is. Even Indiana borders there, right? And then you got the huge Cincinnati metro region that even pushes to want to buy in Dayton because property is so cheap there. And then you got the Dayton population is actually decently done. And then you got a good population, older homes, and then houses trade for very cheap. You get very cheap real estate, 50, 60 grand. You can make, you're not making crazy spreads, but you're making $5, $10, $15, $20,000 on those deals. So they work out very well. Hey, Zach, I just joined your program, went on Facebook, didn't see any links because the links on my live stream on my personal channel are actually done on YouTube. So yeah, actually, if you hop on there, it says it's on the YouTube. So yeah. Let's see here. Anyone in the Southwest market, more specifically Lee County is a decent market too. But I want people to understand. So let's talk about Cape Coral for a second, okay? I want median home price. So let's see. I think was Tampa. I think Tampa is one of the, where is it here? So here it is. All right. All right. So we kind of look at Cape Coral here, right? And Cape Coral didn't get as hit hard as some other markets, right? But I kind of look at here, and it did peak out 433. And now it's starting to do a little bit of a dip, which is actually not too bad. I mean, if you even look at the most overpriced, okay, markets, which I would say probably Austin, Texas, even San Jose. I'll show you this. They're getting big dips, right? So I look at some of the, so like, I'll show you Austin. This is probably the worst. This is what most future, so this is a little much right now. This isn't the average real estate market though. But you look at like Austin, they're the most overpriced. So they're the ones getting hit the hardest. This is where a lot of markets are going to be in the future here. So you kind of look at from here, 670 pushing down to 625. Now, remember, a lot of these real estate markets are pushing below 3% a month. And so even if you look here, they're pushing, heck, I would probably say 3%, 2.5 a month. They're going down. And if you keep that for a year or two straight, you're down 20, 30%. I think for most markets, you're going to see a lot of that stuff on there. So you just got to be careful. So Gabriel says here, is Inland Empire a good market or Fresno? I would pick Fresno. If you're in person, I would probably do Inland Empire. Now, if you're like, Zach, how to become successful, how to do this, still try to do the 50-50 approach. That's probably what I would do there. Punk Stappa, all right, says, I have a seller that owns half a vacant lot. The other half belongs to an LLC. Do you think it's a lead worth going for? Who owns the other LLC? I need some details on this one. If they own half of it, I'd probably say yes if they're motivated, but obviously you need to have a buyer. For vacant land, you're going to need buyers for these deals. And if you don't have a buyer for these deals, I probably wouldn't be doing it. That's every single time I find a vacant land or a vacant piece of land, I actually need to go find a buyer for it first, because land's always a weird one, right? Everyone wants to buy real estate, right? Because you can flip it or you can rent it out. Vacant land's a weird one because most of it's builders, so, or neighbors, but like a lot of them aren't going to be like that. But yeah, so let's see here. Stay-at-home dad, I like the jersey there. So if a new wholesaler had $3,000 to $5,000 per month marketing budget, is direct mail highly recommended cold calling and SMS? So I think at $3,000 a month, cold calling is going to go a lot further than SMS. So cold calling is going to be a lot further than SMS, and then especially with direct mail, because direct mail might be 1,000 leads if I'm really looking at it. I mean, depends if, all right. So if you're using PropStream, maybe you get away with 1,500, but maybe 2,000. But like, I probably say 2,000 leads you can probably send out. Some people say 3,000, but you got to look at the time it takes for that, because I would probably say 1,000, 1,500 direct mails, and then you can probably cold call that list if you're going to skip trace, and then you kind of do all those things. I would probably tell you that's going to be your best bet. If you're pushing 5K, I mean, I would, if you haven't got any deals, I would not throw $5,000 in the wind. All right, you're going to have to know what you're doing. I think for most people starting out, you got to do some cold calling, some SMS before I do dabble in direct mail, because you could have a good shot at it, right? But it might be a really good weapon for you to get a deal, right? But if you don't know how to use the weapon, it's not going to help you out, right? And one sort of key of attack is like, if you have a tank, if you don't know how to drive a tank, what's the point of a tank? And I think so many wholesalers get that confused. But I want you guys to understand that don't be dropping all this stupid money in wholesaling, especially in marketing, starting out when you don't know how to use them. That's when you fail, and that's when you don't become as successful as you should be. So yeah, I'd be careful with that, right? I didn't really start even using direct mail until I got really good at cold calling. I mean, I got really good at Bannatynes first. That's when I initially started out in this business. But yeah, you just got to be careful with it. Same thing with Facebook ads, right? Like I've done Facebook ads. I've done deals on Facebook ads. I haven't had the best ROI, return on my investment. So dropping $3,000 on Facebook ads, I've gotten deals, but like, is it worth it if I drop $3,000 on cold calling or SMS? Probably not, right? I'm still not the biggest fan of Facebook ads. The only online lead generation strategy I found that works, that has a good ROI, is SEO. But then again, with SEO, you got to be very careful, because you have to really know what you're doing. There's a very few amount of people in wholesaling that are really good at SEO. And a lot of them started really in the beginnings and have really good ranked websites. But the problem with the algorithm, the way that Google works, is it's very tough. Like, it's very tough to get really good at SEO. But heck, if you know how to set up the website the right way, it actually could be very profitable for you. But I stay away from Facebook ads, PPC, all that stuff. But yeah. Let's see. All right. Messed up spent about $3,000 on course and a guy that doesn't help, I'm determined. Well, don't drop $3,000 on a stupid guru course. What is wrong with y'all? Don't be doing that. Formula. So just go to wholesaling.com. We actually have our formula calculators on there. Let me know what market you're in. I can just tell you what it is. Probably in your own market there. Did he say it? No, he didn't say it. All right. Did I miss? Yeah, you missed your question being answered because I answered it. So your question specifically was, no, that was the other guy at the LLC. My bad. I have an LLC that started last year. I have not done anything with it. Can I get my number back and reopen the website and use it, or just start with my name? You can use that LLC. I would probably change the, what does they call it? The company code, whatever the code is it for. And then I like putting on LLCs, you know, for all legal and, what do we call it? For all legal and ethical business practices. And that's when, whatever my lawyer, he makes me put that stuff on there just to show that like the company can kind of do anything if it's legal, right? And that's sort of the point here. Drippy Visions HD. Whoa, cool name. Is it true that there aren't as many cash buyers as before? I'm seeing videos saying the numbers of cash buyers are dwindling. I don't think the number of cash buyers are dwindling. And what's going on is the cash buyers aren't dwindling. The cash sales are dwindling. And that's because the market is reacting at different points. So the cash buyers react very swiftly and fast on market conditions where the sellers aren't, right? So it's harder to get a deal when the seller wants too much for it and the cash buyer already knows they want the big discount, but the seller doesn't. Cash sales go down. Cash buyers don't change. And that's the thing a lot of people understand. Oh, cash buyers are shockingly dropping everywhere. What happened to cash buyers? Did they quit? All the cash buyers I know and all these virtual, they haven't quit. They haven't stopped. We still follow up with them. They just want to buy discounts, right? Because they want to buy actually what the thing's worth. And so when I say use 82% of ARV, the ARV just shifts. Okay. So if a property is worth 300,000, 6 months ago, don't do 83% of that. Okay. Because 6 months ago to now, maybe the ARV needs to be adjusted 10, 15, 20%. And now the cash buyers get that ARV formula. I don't think the cash buyers have dwindled because I haven't seen cash buyers leave real estate investing or flipping or renting, but they just want more discounts. And that means there's going to be less cash sales. And so a lot of people doing YouTube videos, they look at it, they look at cash sales going down, and they think, okay, there's less cash sales, which means there's less cash buyers. Not particularly. Just because it's harder to get deals specifically at the right discounts that most cash buyers are willing to do. But yeah, unless they're passing away or, they're losing money, they have a lot of money in the sidelines. A lot of flippers have that, a lot of rentals, a lot of them actually do off of hard money. So money's not an issue with them there. Brian says, I have a deal under contract in Junction City, Kansas. It's on creative terms. It's a 6-unit. Very low prices, but it needs to be fully rehabbed. I haven't been able to sell. What to do? Creative terms is a tricky one when it comes to multifamily because I've done some creative deals where it was like a C apartment. And I've actually had one recently where it was like, okay, I think it was a 40 unit in the Southeast and it was creative. I like the cash flow. Cash flow is good. But the issue was there's so much renovations that even if I was going to get it on a subject to, it just would have not worked, right? Because the initial payment to take over the loan on all, it was an insane loan. That was a stupid deal. But the problem with broke down the deal was I was willing to put $150K down because it was getting cash flow very well for me. But the maintenance just made the ROI not good, especially with creative terms, because taking over the payments is fine on the loan. The arbitrage is great, but you go from making a 20% cash on cash to like making 7%. Just not worth it. And then the market, the rents can go down. The problem is the renovation costs, right? You might be doing a lease with an option to buy on this. That's fine. You're probably not going to do a sandwich on this one. So I would, a 6 units small enough where you might be able to get away with it. The fully rehab's the tough part because everyone wants creative terms, the most of the money for it, but they don't want to deal with the cost on it, right? Unless if you can get 0% or something like very low, I think that's good. But remember, you either get terms or price. And if you want the most amount of price for the deal, you got to get me good terms. Very low interest rates, long payments, no balloon, do that. most of these creative finance guys, when it comes to a seller that's okay with it, they're going to want at least a 5 or 6 year balloon payment. Push it to 10 to 15 if you can. That's how you win when they're fully rehabbed and they want an insane amount. I'm doing a lot of multifamily deals out here with creative finance. Not a ton, again, a lot lately. Usually I do the deal good when the rehab's not crazy. When the rehab's too high and the seller's not budging on the interest rates or anything, that's probably when they don't work out. But let's not getting the whole creative finance thing right now. That's for another day. But guys, that's how you make $10,000 a month in wholesaling. I think so many wholesalers get really confused on this journey of actually how to actually go out here, do deals. It all comes back to talking to a lot of sellers, marketing, acquisitions, making offers, and dispositions, talking to cash buyers. The biggest thing that's stopping everybody watching this video right now, most likely, right? I'm not saying it to you, but it's just you sitting on your bum and not doing the work, right? And I'm not calling you lazy or anything like that, but like if you're not willing to go out here and talk to sellers or pull a list and talk to them or cold call them or talk to a cash buyer, somebody else in your market's doing it, and that's why they're getting a deal and not you. You miss 100% of the deals that you don't market to. So get in your butt and start marketing deals. You can't, it's almost impossible not to get a deal if you consistently show up and market to sellers every single day. It's the ones that don't do it or say, oh, I got to wait to do this. That guys, pull a list, cold call it, drive for dollars, reverse drive for dollars, whatever you're going to do, but just start taking action that's going to produce you income. Cold calling a seller, producing income. Skip tracing list and cold calling them or SMS them, income. Sending direct mail out, that'll give you income. Do the income producing activities now and lead you to your success now. So guys, take action. That's the point. Make an action plan, get to work and get off your butt. Stop thinking about wholesaling and actually start doing it, and that'll lead to your success. Guys, I'm here to help everybody out. I want to do a one-on-one next week. I'm always here to help, so appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe.